So UI design is typically known as the sort of the visual design of a software experience or a product experience for that matter. Whereas UX design is typically thought of as the way that something works. So the usability of it or the way that you interact with it. When you marry UI with UX design, you basically get sort of the total experience of the software. When I look at software, there's three primary dimensions that I look at. And the first one is the thing useful? So does it have utility? The second one is it usable? Is it easy for me to grasp it and get to use it? And the third one is it well crafted? And that's sort of the UI side of it. Does it exhibit a superlative level of visual design? Does it have motion design associated with it? Does it sound the right way? All of these factors go into the craft of the experience. So one trend that I think is really exciting is there's this conversation in enterprise software around how to elevate the craft of the experience. So a lot of software that we use for work, frankly, sucks. It's just like not very fun. It's not very beautiful. It's slow. It's clunky. I'm not going to name names, but like there's some really bad software out there. And the reason why it's so bad is that enterprises spend a bunch of money on it and there's no incentive to change it. If you look at consumer software, oftentimes it's really great. It's playful, it's fun, it's exciting, it's fast, it's snappy, it gives you a sense of emotional engagement. When you look at the software that we use for work on a regular basis, that enterprise software, I think people deserve to have a better experience. And I see other companies kind of thinking about this as well. The way I think about how your software should feel is the way that your actual physical office should ideally feel. Would you rather work in an office where, the table is kind of like dingy and old and it's got coffee stains on it and your chair squeaks and it's in the middle of a basement and there's no air or light? Probably not. You probably wouldn't want to. Now, how about working in an office where like it's a beautiful white oak table, you've got this nice Knoll leather chair, you have this beautiful view of the ocean and the windows are open and you can smell the sea breeze coming in. You've got a wonderful monitor in front of you. You're locked in and you're loving it. Your software should feel the same way. It's just like an extension of your office. And so I think that trend of better crafted enterprise software is super exciting because more and more people are using more and more software, especially when we get into the realm of like VR. And if we're using VR for enterprise work, then you're quite literally inhabiting a spatial environment. And so people deserve great software, especially when it comes to work. I think it's critical. I mean, we're always designing software for somebody, right? So we should take that somebody into consideration when we design and build the software. I have a firm belief in making sure that you understand who you're designing for, what their needs are. At Slack, we have a product principle, which is be a great host. And what this product principle really is getting at is the fact that there is no end to the amount of empathy that we can have for the people who use our software, A, and B, it's really important for you as the maker of the software to get out of your own mindset and to think more about the person who's using your software. So we talk a lot about something called the owner's delusion. As an owner, you oftentimes think that you have the best idea because you came up with the idea. But if you can get out of your own mindset, you can realize that what you've thought of actually is only as good as how it works for the person that you've thought of it for. So you really need to inhabit their mindset with a great level of empathy. We often talk about having a beginner's mindset, where when you approach the thing that you've designed or built, you think about it from a perspective of somebody who's never seen it before in the first place, which is really hard to do, but you then have a beginner's mindset with the software you've built, and you oftentimes find that there are some significant gaps in the conceptual way that it's kind of introduced to people. So I think that's really important. But on the flip side, it's also important to know what you need to do as a business and not follow exactly what your customers tell you to do. I think there's that like famous quote, which I'm probably going to butcher, which is that like if Henry Ford followed his customers, he would have given them a faster horse because that's what they wanted. And the same goes for the software that we're building. If you just follow what customers say they want, you're going to have a hard time oftentimes finding those next level innovations. So you need to be able to understand your customers, understand them with deep level of empathy, but then also have an understanding for where you want to take things into the future in order to innovate on top of that.